Been a whole minute. Now there's just one person. They're certainly letting everyone know that I'm live, aren't they? Not. Gee, I wonder why they restrict my information. Could it be the truth they don't want revealed? Nine and a half thousand subscribers, apparently. Oh, wow. We're flying ahead. We've got 3 people. 2 minutes, I've collected 3 viewers. Wow. Thanks, TikTok. Really helping me out. Zoom out. Oh, hey, look at that. Zoom out. Zoom out. Well, I'll put that there just as an image because it's all related to flat Earth. So I'll just wait for a couple more minutes to see who comes on board, because this is quite divine information I'm about to share. It's what they call from the Kabbalah, okay? How we've given stories that we're supposed to believe are actual history when it's complete nonsense. Some people might call them myths, but they're actually from the Kabbalah, which is esoteric stories, you could say. And I'm going to break down just one of them. Normally I just do it for my Patreons, but I went live and no one showed up. They must be all asleep there in America or hard at work. So I thought I'd share one on YouTube, and it'll stay up, so anybody following me might get a sense of where I'm coming from, what I know. So first of all, we should start off by saying, I'm not going to tell you this is fact. I'm going to say, this is, just imagine. So people can imagine. Okay, so no one's telling them anything. I just want listeners to imagine. So that scared people off straight away. Back down to 10 now. Let's see if we get any more first. I'm about to break down. Oh, we're down to 6 now. So yeah, okay. I'm about to break down. Well, it was a story that came from the Middle East. All the religious stories come from the Middle East. They're all concerned the Middle East. But all these ancient stories are actually religion. I'm going to make the connections for you. All of religion is about one divine event. And everyone around the world, not everyone around the world, but the story comes from every corner of the world. The same story, just told differently. I'm about to expose it. It's what they call religion. And religion comes from physics. Physics being the creation of our realm. The beginning. The creation story of Earth, which is physics, the parallel story with the creation of man, which is man's illumination, which is the awakening of the soul, or the gaining of the soul, or raising a soul, or raising his kundalini, or raising his chakras, opening his third eye, baptism, Passover, you name it. There's hundreds of names for it. and it's all concerning duality becoming singular, returning back to singularity. So it just jumped up to 24 and instantly dropped back down to 12. So TikTok's definitely messing with my site. Not TikTok, YouTube. Exactly what they're doing with TikTok. I'm getting all these new followers every day, and then all of a sudden the numbers just drop back. My new TikTok got up to 217 people or something rather, dropped back down to 214. 2 days ago, it drops down to a 211. So, the powers that be do not want this information shared. So it's up to you people to go and share it. Smash it out there, man. Now, this story today is about the story regarding, let me find the right page, I've got notes scribbled everywhere here. The Empress Theodora, and it's to do with Constantinople, okay? Which was called Byzantium, or the Byzantines. That's another story I've just broken down on my Patreon, and regarded as the new Rome, and now the place is called Istanbul. Okay, so you've got to understand Istanbul is divided. It's got a strip of water to make it dual. Okay, so this is why they use this area as the story in religion regarding duality becoming singular. So now my numbers drop down to 4. There's just no point in doing this sort of thing, They're just shutting me down. Flush and chops. It's Kiwi for ya. I love a New Zealand. New Zealand and flush and chops. I was never good at pronouncing English to start with. Maybe in my past lives it was Greek or something. So there's only 6 people here now. So let's just run over the numbers here and just watch what happens, okay? There's 7 now. You get an understanding. 6 down to 5 now. All the millions of flat earthers in the world, yet no, YouTube isn't getting out to them. Not making any connections here. Back to 6. So 10 minutes has gone by, 9.5 minutes now, and there's only 6 people here. I can go on the dumbest flipping flat earth talkback shows any day of the week, and there's heaps of people there, completely talking rubbish. Got no idea about what they're talking about. I was just listening to one. They're popping up all the time, these globe earth sites, and then you get the flat earthers ringing in. I just listened to one, a Spanish guy or South American guy anyway, and he seemed to know a bit, but he still didn't get it right. He doesn't know it all. You'll only get the full physics of the flat earth here, and this is why YouTube and TikTok shut me up, you see. People saying that the sun is magnetic. It's not. The moon is magnetic. The moon represents Earth. The moon represents the magnetic field of Earth. The moon represents the 3D vortex, which is the feminine aspect of creation. The sun is the male who sits on the 2D plane above with all the planets. They are the male. They are all electrical. Well, actually, no. Electromagnetic, because they're X and Y chromosomes, aren't they? Male is X and Y chromosome. So are the planets. That's why they mention hermaphrodites and stuff in the esoteric stories. But the sun is electrical, singular, but when it meets up with the moon, every new moon, it's showing us the cycle going back into singularity, the meaning to life for us, for mainly men, because we have a lost Lilith, our lost X. Where did it go? The woman's got the two X's. We've lost our X, and this is what religion is all about, is relocating this lost feminine aspect within man, which all boils down to the moon, the magnetic, and Mary, what all religion is all about, finding that connection. So the whole story of illumination, the spiritual story of it, is religious and physics. The duality coming back into singularity. And that takes the moon. In the story I was going to share with you guys, it's just a little TikTok video that came up this morning regarding Constantinople, about the Empress Theodora and the king or ruler, emperor, or whatever, Justinian. Okay? So whenever you see these stories, you've got to take the main word, all these words, and break them down. What are the etymologies of these words? When you find the guts of the story, what they're really trying to tell you in Greek. So spiritual awakening is the bringing duality into singularity. So bringing man back to raising his soul. When you raise your soul, it's all due to the celestial alignment, and it needs the moon. And one of these points in this video, it says one of them. What does it say here? It doesn't happen without the woman who refuses to run. This is real deep stuff. I'm about to explain it all, okay? So, after this, it's a pity you haven't seen it first, the TikTok video regarding what I just said, okay? And we're going to break it all down. In just that very short video, there's 17 aspects referring to the great divine event, which is basically the whole Jesus story of raising your soul, enlightenment, what all religion is all about. And like I've said before, religion boils back to the physics, and it's understanding this flat earth. A flat earth, or even if you think it's a globe, it's a duality, isn't it? It's got two hemispheres. Well, the brain's got two hemispheres. Each one of these hemispheres has a star rotation. If you're into star trailing, get my pointy stick. On every meridian, north to south, man can film two sets of star rotations, one on the south and one for the north, depending on his latitude as to how much he'll get of either or. Okay? But every man, because he's on a direct meridian north to south, will get his mirrored image of what's back in here. This slice of the pie ends up out here. Here will video a rotation of stars here. It's time star trail photography. Or if he tracks a star, he'll film stars coming in to this rotation. Not that the rotation's there, but if you had two cameras, you'd see it. One camera could film in star trail, the circular motion, because the circular motion is representing the permanent circular rotation of the central vortex of creation. It's always there. Even though it might have only turned 2 degrees, the rotation is always there. It's a vortex. So you've always got the circular motion of stars out here, even though you've only filmed for 5 minutes. So if you lived on a spinning ball, how do you get a circular star rotation if the flipping ball hasn't even rotated from 1 degree or whatever? So it's all garbage, the globe model. So it's understand the two hemispheres, understand the duality. We live in a dual world. It's all about mirrors. That's why the moon out here is upside down down there. There's this magnetic mirror, you could say, around the tropical gap here. And the tropics is the magical zone, where everything is hidden. And that's where what all of religion is alluding to is this tropical gap. What the sun is doing over the season, which is basically leading man to the Holy Land, connecting them two together. So you've got to imagine the star rotation here and the star rotation here. These stars move north over the year. Besides going all the way around, if you track the star, if you could track it and race ahead with an aeroplane or a fast boat, you find the star goes right round and spirals in. Because all the stars are in the 3D vortex of creation. So obviously they're going to spiral out and then back in again, then back up and out again in 24 hours. Exactly what the moon does over the month. It's going around every day. It goes right out to full moon, out to Cancer, boundary line of Capricorn, and then spirals back in again. Disregard what you think you know in science. It's all BS. You've got to think of it the way I'm describing it, using this whole flat earth model. So imagine it is spiraling right out and then spiraling back in. But always consider the duality. So nothing's happening out here. It's the system that's going on in here in the northern hemisphere is mirrored. It's flipped out here. So it's a whole different pattern. It's inverted. So you take this pattern in here, you've got to turn it inside out and then put it there. So the silly flat earth model and everything they all talk about, all these flat earth shills, it's all BS. You can't have one sun going around here like this. It's all BS. There's just one sun in the north, but it's mirrored to the south all the way around here because it's all mirrored from here, mirrored out, mirrored out, mirrored out. So you've got all your sister bodies doing their thing out here. Well, this one in here is going like this. So you've got to understand that. So let me go back to the duality, right? So these stars, even your science tells you, these stars move north and then back again. But they don't explain it properly because it can't work on a ball properly. Only the flat earth can explain it all. How the rotation moves right up to that point. So the circle's like here. And then revolves back. But all along, these stars are going around every day because as the central northern hemisphere turns, it's projecting the star all the way around here. So you don't have one star just staying here doing circles. No, they're all the stars going around, coming into your horizon. Your horizon's only so wide, let's say it's 3 miles out or whatever. Relative to you, I'm talking about the relative area to you, they come into your horizon, pass over and go out. But when they enter your horizon, they're in the circle. Before they disappear, you just, in star trailing photography, they just disappear. But if you track one, you just track one all the way around like this. So it's understanding that. So this story regarding Istanbul, it starts off talking about the town is burning. And whenever they refer to burning or fire, you've got to think of the Milky Ways. Okay, that's the fire. The fiery dragon, Chinese myth, that's the dragon. There's all sorts of names for it. So, like I said, you've got to understand the two celestial bodies, and it's about this Milky Way and this Milky Way bridging. And that bridging is the Rakia, is the firmament that everyone refers to about over this flat earth, when really all those arcs you see in the ancient Hebrew Bibles are about the two Milky Ways merging to form the bridge, crossing the Red Sea in the story, the whole Jesus story. They have to merge, they have to align, and it's at a time when the earth, the Earth's magnetic field, the dual magnetic fields, are balanced. Because up until then, there's an imbalance. It's asymmetrical. Okay? It's, if you work on just magnetic field cycles, it's the golden ratio difference. That's also mentioned in this story. We're going to get to that. Okay, so they've got the two forces. They're calling in the town, creating a battle. It's always a war. It's like the Trojan War, okay? Because the Trojan War is the same sort of story. It's all physics. And one's a green. They call them the greens, and the other one is the blue. Well, think of your chakras. What's your chakra? What's the green chakra? That's your heart. And what's the blue is the mind. Your heart and mind have to be synced as one. Man has to be completely relaxed in a good state of consciousness for the celestial alignment to affect his brain and illuminate the dormant brain cells to create the third eye opening. It's syncing the two hemispheres of the brain together, okay? So this empress was supposed to have worked in a circus. So a circus represents a circle, and this all boils down to the Physica Piscis, understanding the Physica Piscis. I can't reveal everything actually because it belongs to my Patreon, and these people, they fund me, Anyway, the Physica Piscis, you know what a Physica Piscis is? The two rotations, right? Overlaying gets to a certain point, and then you've got this oval in between them both, okay? It's all about that divine place. There's hundreds of names for it. Rome, Greece, or Greek, Judah, Physica Piscis, actual Tartaria, Athens, all those stories refer to the same thing, okay? And this thing at the time of the year, this Physica Piscis moves all the way around the earth to create the circle. That's why they say this goddess worked in the circus. She grew up in the circus. So, and also number 3, we've got the new king waiting in the wings. Okay, so the wings are the two Milky Ways that come out of the tropics, and you've got the gap between the tropics. Okay, so it actually looks like a bow. Isn't a bow and arrow? Or the wings of a bird, see? And the initiate, the man, because his soul is in the stars, every man on earth has a star. He's waiting in the wings for this rotation to line up with the Milky Ways. He's going to enter into the Milky Way, into the mother ship, the solar ship where the sun is. The sun is in the Milky Way. They don't tell you that. So the king, the initiate, the man who's going to be awoken, become the new king. The king is always being replaced, right? And what's the sun? The sun is always being replaced at a solar eclipse. Another one, 30. It says 30,000. 30,000 soldiers or whatever. No, you could break it down. You can go 30, thou send, you will send 30. But 30, those numbers are always used in all these esoteric stories. So you go third. What's the etymology of third? Too dry or parch. Now this represents the sides of the tropics, because you got to think of the two tropical boundaries as doing battle here, as in like capacitance or magnetic induction and all that. So it's all about the tropical gap, okay? Because that's where Earth makes its energy, creates its energy between the tropics there, and this is where our sun, our image of the sun, is believed to be. So you go third, and too dry or parched, which is the deserts just on the outsides of the tropics. Tropics is wet and moist, right? And then T, so third T. So T represents the mark or the cross. So some of you, if you've followed my earlier videos, you've got the cross up the tropics. There's a cross. The cross member is the pairing at the top, the highest energy state, the highest energy field when they find a pairing. Okay, so you think of the Earth's magnetic infinity symbol not crossing the tropics. The only time it can pass into the tropics is at the T-bar on the cross. If you draw a cross within because the vertical is the flow of the water molecule going up to the tropics as it's getting shredded, it's being purified. So, which is a parallel story to man's purification before he gets reborn. You have to be purified. It's like it's a trinity all blended into one story. Okay, so you got the physics of the tropics, what's the purification system of the Earth's recycling system they don't tell you about. This is why all these this pollution saving scheme they've got. What do they call it? Can't think. Not on my mind. It's all BS. Earth has its own recycling system, okay? So, and then you got the cross, which is celestial too. There's celestial crosses involved with this divine time. So, 30,000, so 30, understand what the 30 means. It's all to do with 3 a.m. in the morning or 3 o'clock when the Earth's magnetic field is strongest. And the whole divine story of Jesus was 3 a.m. in the morning when the moon was full in Pisces. Okay, it's a celestial alignment. So 30. The tropical gap boundaries. Yeah, I've done that. Another one. Then the Empress entered the court. Well, the Empress is the feminine aspect, and she's represented by the moon. Or you consider her as Mary at full moon. She's at full birth, ready to give birth. Spiritual birth to man on earth in the 5 holy days. So she represents the spiritual, and she's about to enter the cave, enter the Milky Way as well. The sun in the Milky Way catches up and overlays the full moon. And the full moon is in Pisces. Okay, this is why the Physica Piscis is called the Physica Piscis. The whole divine, it's the one most divine story of all of religion. It's because the Jesus story is considered the King of the Kings. And in the story it says the room went quiet, representing no movement. This is when the sun and the moon go through a period, 2.5 days of no movement. Okay? And then it says Justinian stayed. So they stayed. They didn't move in declination. There's 2.5 days each side of the sun's analemma, where the sun and moon do not move for 2.5 days. They go around the earth every day, of course, but in the declination for the tropical yearly cycle, they do not move. So, in the story, the room went quiet. Justinian stayed. Then it mentions the street. Well, the tropical gap is considered the street. There's lots of names for it. The Jordan, you got the banks of the Jordan, you got the street, the river, the strait. All the ancient stories all talk about this one gap, the gap, the gangs. I put the gangs there, gangs. As in gap, maybe, or whatever. Another one, next one is exit sealed. Oh, okay, they said they all entered in and the exit was sealed, which means fixed for 2.5 days. The Physica Piscis is closed in. He was done, which means it is over. Like Jesus said in the story, it is over, which means, I think it was when he said, it's in Latin. Or Hebrew, Latin, I think it was. He said these words when he was on the cross. He was done. It's over. Moving on. Over in 40 minutes. They said the whole battle with 30,000 men lay dead. We've just gone over about 30,000 men. Was all over and done within 40 minutes. Well, the whole divine story is about arriving at 3 o'clock and gone by 33 minutes. But here they say 40 minutes, so maybe some are a little bit longer. And it's all to do with the precise moment of the full moon. How long does it last for? Another one, it does happen without, it says, it doesn't happen without the woman who refuses to run, meaning the moon, she's not moving in declination, only going around per day, 15, nearly, well, just say 14 degrees per hour. It does not happen without the woman. So man cannot be illuminated unless he's got the correct moon sign. Okay, people don't understand any of that. You only find that on my Patreon. Theodora means God and gift. Okay, so it's all about this divine godly gift, spiritual awakening. And even Justinian, the emperor, upright, just, that's represented in the T, the cross I was telling you about earlier. Then next one is Constantinople, was called Byzantium, and there's a similar story, another joke. People think it's history, describing the whole divine event again. I've done that on Patreon. The new Rome, Visigopiscus, now Istanbul, and it's split, remember, the strait, it's got the water split between the water there, showing you the duality. And Istanbul means stin pollen, in the city. That's also another name for the Visigopiscus, in the city. And Constantinople, think of constant and it's noble. Well, the Visigopiscus is always there. No, it's not always there. It's there every year. Turns up every year, okay? It's constant and noble. Another one, his bags were packed. This is a good one, because referring to the sun's analemma, right? Well, look at the sun's analemma. Does it look like a rubbish bag with a tie? Yeah. A tie a knot around the neck, with the neck, hanging by the neck. Tie the knot around the rubbish bag. What do you think that character's representing on the Prague clock? Yeah. You think it's a banker, do you? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Okay, another one. Half the city on fire. Well, it takes two halves to make a whole, and it takes two Milky Ways to make the bridge. Okay? This all goes back to ancient stories. Billy Goat Gruff. 15. Had united. It said had united. So obviously the two had come together and united. The Visigopiscus. Two circular motions uniting at the right time, the right balance. 16. The revolt crushed. Well, one, you talk about the vault of heaven, and I've referred that to what we call now as the voltage. So it's electrical. The volt you call the sun within the gap is the voltage. That's what's going on between the dielectric, the two capacitor plates, the tropical boundaries, Cancer and Capricorn. Metaphysical, of course. So it says the revolt crushed. Well, what's happening when I just said that the southern hemisphere comes up and overlays the northern hemisphere? Well, it's a little northern hemisphere because everything expands, right? Everything expands out to the south. So the big south comes up and crushes the little. That's why the revolt crushed. Okay? The overlaying. You say there's the vault at the gap and it comes up, overlays, you can say crushed. It's crushed. The vault crushed. The gap is in the overlay, the big south on the little north. That takes me back to 1 second. Oh, I just did a video yesterday and just rubbed it off. In John 21:11, maybe I think it is, he said something about the large. I can't remember the parable now. It's about the large. He was representing the large field, the large stars overlaying the other one. Anyway, moving along. Now we've got the last one. Crown saved. Man's crown, pineal, soul, the crown. Top of your head, the crown. It's all about that. What's inside there? What's down in there? The pineal gland. What do you think the kippah represents? The Jewish kippah covers that patch of your skull, because at the divine time, certain things happen. Somewhere in esoteric stories, it says David came down from the mountain with his head covered. I wonder why. Remember, it's a story. It's all descriptive. Okay, myth. What's a myth? Yeah, speech, word, narrative, or fiction. More like a religious script than myth. These stories I've just told you about. And in the same story, they mention Belisarius. And you break that down, you've got Belos, meaning arrow or dart. And this is representing the alignment between the two hemisphere star rotations at your hour, come man's hour, the divine time. So all happens at night. All of religion's about the night sky, what's going on at night, okay? And the rest of it, Arius, is referring to Ares, Greek god of war. And Ares and Mars are connected to the tropical gap where this battle is going on. Dart, and it refers to dart of Ares, they call it. You could say the dart, the arrow flying across the tropics to get to the other side, the bridging, or however you want to think of it. Also, they mention, here's Bel again. We've got Bel, meaning beautiful or fair. They're referring to the male there, but you can think of him because he's gaining his lost Lilith. The Bible talks about the fair maidens giving birth, long story. It's also short for Isabel, which is in the Bible. And in the story it mentions hippodrome, and that means horse, road, and race. The arena. Well, what's the ecliptic plane? That is the horse. That's the horse race. The arena, the horse track. All the planets, which are male, are all in their own concentric tracks. And of course, the sun is on the inside track, so he's the fastest. He's always going to win the race. He's considered as the king. And why is it referring to horses? Well, why is there a story about Jesus being born in a hay barn and all that sort of thing, and hay and straw and manger? Well, it's all referring to the Milky Way. Looks like a big clump of straw or tangled twine or something. And it's about the horses, the two horses that come into Jerusalem, the donkey and the colt. Well, what are the two horses in the celestial bodies? You've got Pegasus and you've got, what's the other one? Starts with E, I think. Yeah, it's here somewhere. Equilius. Okay, they're the two horses, the colt and the... Go research it. Does Jesus come into Jerusalem on a donkey or a colt? You'll find there's a dual story there, because it's all about duality coming into singularity. The two coming together into the Physicopiscus, the Trinity, the whole divine story of all of religion, the foundations of our whole realm. Because our whole realm is consciousness. It's all of the mind. It's understanding this deeper meaning. Understanding the truth, knowing everything. It will set you free. Okay, well, that was that story. Now go find it on TikTok. The Empress Theodora Okay, and Justinian, Justinian. Theodora, Theodora, the Empress, about the story of Constantinople. Or jump over to my Patreon, just join up with Saints for a month, $20. Kiwi, peanuts. You find a lot of stuff there, man. You know, if anyone's got any questions, I'll answer them now before I take off. I'll be listening, but cutting the grass. Okay. I'm here for it. Just finishing up the work day soon. Good on you, mate. Jiren was always a glober. Bought and paid for from the beginning. Well, I used to listen to those guys, him and the late, what's his face? He seemed like a really nice guy. And although he was, revealing some truths, they would only go so far. They would take you to the fence, but you're not allowed to go over it. They wouldn't go beyond it. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you guys? What are you doing? And then Jiren flips like this, so I thought, oh, there you go. So, yeah, everyone's out to deceive you, man. You can't trust anyone out there. I won't lie to you. I'll give you the facts, man. I know the whole story to the flat earth, all religion. People say, oh, yeah, you think you're the one, do you? Yeah, no. I know I'm the one. I know more than anyone else when it comes to flat earth physics. Despite what other people say, I think it's very big-headed of me, but yeah, true. But, you don't blow your own horn. No one else is going to blow it for you. I'm here to let everyone know what's going on. I mean, everything's a lie. You've been taught lies since you're a kid. Here's something that really brasses me off. I'm building a garage, right? And you think of the American designers blowing humans up by the thousands every year, murdering people by the thousands. But I've got to pay $1,000 to put some protective gear around my garage for these people to put my roof on. A single level, but it's almost a double garage. Just, 8 foot off the ground. And I'm supposed to be saving the life of some moron who can't put a roof on without falling off the roof. One person. Yet, in the other half of the world, they're murdering people by the thousands. And they're all concerned about one person falling off a roof in New Zealand. Sure enough, if it's 2-story or whatever, it's just silly. Just especially when you're building a garage, a small garage. Here's a question. What do you think the first real religion was for the masses? It's all paganism. All the cultures knew of it all. They all knew it was celestial. The only way we travelled the world was celestially. It's all to do with your arc of horizon. All to do with the arc, which is nautical miles, arcs per minute and all that sort of thing. Everything was celestial. It says look up. All the information's in the stars. And this is why we know about the zodiac and all that. And you talk to anyone religious, they don't want to talk about the zodiac. No, that's devil talk. This is how they've all been conned, Only takes one generation to brainwash, the next generation. You just get ignorant parents, you're going to end up with ignorant kids. Unless the kid goes out and searches for himself, which is what I did, My parents nothing about all my siblings know nothing about what I know, and they just think I'm full of it. This is why there's the term, the parable or phrase in the Bible. It says you cannot be a prophet in your own land. Because come the day you wake up, they're not going to believe you know anything because they know you from the past when you didn't know anything. We were all in this dumbed down state. I might get quite smart and rude about things now and then, but at the end of the day, I was just as thick. But the thing is, I wasn't looking. Okay? When I started looking, I found the truth straight away. You only have to start looking. So I wouldn't say I was ignorant. I'd say I didn't have the time to look, or didn't take the time to look, but I always kept an open mind, you see. I was never ignorant. Some might call me dumb, but I was never ignorant. Keep an open mind, everybody. Questions? There's 12 people here now. If you've got any question about anything, flat earth physics, religion, I'll give you the answer. Do what you will with it. Understanding the duality, male and female. Our whole realm is male and female, seeking singularity to become one. When you die, you don't long for anything. You go back to singularity. If you want to get out of this realm, gain your eternal life, where you can go in and out and go live in the land of some paradise somewhere called Garden of Eden. You have to find your singularity in this physical world. It's not when you die, after you die. Everyone thinks the Egyptians are doing everything to a dead physical body. No, that's for stupid people. No, people who know, understand, the Egyptians have left all the secrets. It's all there. Spiritual enlightenment. It's what all of religion is about. But they took it away from you and turned it into a corporate entity where you've got to pay them to bullshit you. Like everything. It's just another tax. Tax on the mind, that one. Anybody? Questions? Come on. I like questions. Gets me thinking too. I love it when these science wannabes jump on. Oh, they haven't been on here for ages, but because no one's getting to see my videos, jump on my YouTube and start trying to contradict what I'm saying, come up with all their BS stories and stuff. I love it. I smash them every time and they run off. Next thing, you go back to look at their silly comments, they're all gone. They come on just to have you put out a smart remark, hoping that people will see your smart remark and think you're an asshole. But, each to their own. Can't help people think, can you? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Lindsay, what is Polaris exactly? It's a 3-star system, isn't it? Well, out in the southern hemisphere, the mirrored image is completely separate stars. There's no one spot. So the Polaris, I would say, would be, it's the night image of the sun, because the sun is a star, up there, straight up. And maybe, I've always thought there's some hidden entities around the sun, but otherwise, if there isn't, it would just be Mercury and Venus. No, we see them out as planets. Yeah. No, it must be something else. There's a couple of things hanging around the sun. That is the dead center, or just off center, you see. It does a small circle, and that's what the sun does. It's a very small circle around the black hole center. The black hole, that's the center. So just consider Polaris as the sun. I mean, when you think about it, maybe the sun is a trinity anyway, all in one. Because the whole divine story of religion is about a Trinity, the Father, the Mother, and the Holy Ghost. Or the man, the soul, or the man and his other half lost Lilith, like the X and Y chromosome, and his soul. Would that be one Trinity, maybe? I don't know. But I'm going with science. This is a Trinity, 3-star system, didn't they? Don't they? Okay. What do you think of the stereographic map? I forget. What is that? What is the stereographic map? Is that a Gleason map? Yeah. When you think of that Japanese map, all these extra continents out there beyond south, at the same time, you've got to realize that the South Pole, they call the South Pole, which is Antarctic, the other 90 degrees, or it's not really 90 degrees. It's actually 66.6 degrees. So obviously there's more land beyond that. They just tell us 66 is the Arctic Circle. Because with the flat earth design, the toroidal field, you can't have it at the very end. You've got to imagine this central northern hemisphere is flipped inside out over to the south. So that becomes about here, 66.6 degrees. It's the mirror. It's the magnetic mirror. This is why it's 66.6 degrees. Your compass starts going haywire because you've got the old golden ratio spiral coming out, upsetting the magnetic field. Because the magnetic field out here curls around like this and does a loop. It comes out here and goes around like this. Like that. That's where the sun goes. It follows this path, that golden ratio. And then comes back, loops around again. If everything was fixed on your one meridian, if nothing moved except the sun, it does this pattern. You wouldn't see it though. You can't see it. You can only see half at a time. It's hard to describe, but anyway, that's the way it goes. The map, you've got the Gleason map, which shows you that you've got the expansion here on the Gleason map. Everything is relative to the observer. So you're expanding with the field. So you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Or you can say you get bigger and bigger to the equator, then smaller and smaller and smaller. It's the same thing. Works the same way because it's all relative to the observer. No one is to know you're getting bigger or smaller, or no one is to know that the other person is getting bigger or smaller. So then you go to the Mercator, the Mercator map. This is the Gleason map. Go to the Mercator map, and it shows all these dead parallel, which is representing equal distance, because that's what it is. Time over distance, if you're traveling at the same speed, at any latitude, is all the same. Your globe BS is just telling you, oh, that's the diameter of the Earth at the equator. No, it's not. It's the diameter of Earth everywhere, on every latitude, relative to the observer. You can fly from there to there, or there to there. It takes you exactly the same time if you're in the exact same aeroplane going the exact same speed. This is all about time dilation. Einstein, the cronies, and his relativity and all that. Okay? So does that mean that the sun is an emanation of Polaris? Well, the sun is only illuminated because right there on the friction barrier line of the black hole, where the two Milky Ways come and merge, they spiral into each other. There's electrostatics, you can say. Or you take that, what I've just described, and put it out into our realm, which becomes lateral, which is between the tropics, the two fields, electrostatics happening there, creating our sun. You go back into creation, you got the two Milky Ways spiraling in. And that friction around the horizon of the black hole illuminates the sun. And of course, we only see that during the day, don't see the sun at night. So the vertical straight up image coming out of the central vortex in the Arctic is the sun, the star, Polaris. But there's other images too. You've got something going on in the celestial tropical gap, like it's connected to the three kings, the Orion's belt, the center star. There's the Trinity there, see, right? Okay, it's connected to that as well. Let's go in deep. I haven't got that on my mind, so I'm going to try and break that down now. Same thing for the moon. Well, the moon, no, it's different. The moon is in the 3D vortex below, which represents the sun. It's the feminine aspect of the sun. It's the negative, it's the magnetic of the sun. And they come back together to become electromagnetic every new moon. So they become male and female at every new moon. Otherwise, they're separate. Electrical or magnetic. Moon magnetic, sun electrical, but together they are electromagnetic. What are all the planets as they exist 24/7? Electromagnetic. So this is how we get solar eclipses. When the Milky Way comes around, overlays a planet, the electromagnetic cancels out the sun and moon, new moon, electromagnetic. This is why we get a shadow. That's the solar eclipse. I think we are guaranteed in here with the parasites. Quarantined. It's a prison. We are the slaves until you wake up. Just go research this corporate law that people are using, like I'm a free man, all that sort of stuff. Well, the Freemasons it goes back thousands and thousands of years. In the Bible, that's when they mention slaves. You are the slaves. We are the slaves until you're illuminated. Become a Freemason. See, I think half these Freemasons are probably, they come and go when they please. Funny how they're all so active at 80. Imagine still doing that sort of shit at 80 years old. How many people you know that are 80 that can be bothered doing what they do? I mean, it's a great life if you can do it. All the money, all the food in the world, all the best stuff. They're running the world. I think they can come and go as they please. When we're in an asylum until the patients become sane again. Yeah. You're right there. Got some noise going on. Must be on my roof. Fucking birds make a lot of noise. Seagulls close to the sea. Freaking mental asylum when you listen to some of these sites. Oh my God, yeah. Hi y'all. World of Bliss. Good to get you live. Bit late now, mate. Simon Dan, you what a retard. Well, I shouldn't say that word. TikTok's going to do something now. I said that word. Okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah, someone's laughing at him. Whoops. Dojo, something effed up is happening for sure. Yep. Smeg hidden. I dated a scientist. Dated a scientist and what? Scientist. You listen to these young people, they're still at school. They think they know everything, eh? That's first class ignorance when, a 20-year-old thinks she knows better, or he, than a flipping 60-year-old or whatever, the 50-year-old. geez, you did not date Dan. Yeah. What do you do when you wake up not to be so? It's a divine event. You'll know, mate. It's celestial. It's about consciousness, having the question in your head, open-minded, looking for the truth. And I don't know if the flipping stars align with you, because you've got to realize nothing's fixed. Okay? Nothing is fixed. It can just mold to you or whatever. It's a weird thing. You don't know if it just coincidentally happened at the same time with your mental thought at that time, or, because all our realities are like different wavelengths. And we sort of overlay and mesh into each other. So it's just very weird. Just remember, nothing's actually physical. Everything is of the light and consciousness. It's only the sun that illuminates our reality, giving us 3D depth perception. You're looking into a mirror. I mean, how thick's a mirror? All your reality, where you're standing there, it's all in the mirror there. How can that be? 3D depth. That's why the ancients were going on about mirrors all the time. Stories about the ancient, what country is that, way back in Italy, north of Italy way, the something mirrors. No, I can't think. They smashed them all because they're magical, something magical about them. I think they smashed them all because they had mercury on the back, didn't they? Don't tell you that bit in the story. So then the sun is a resistance between the two Milky Ways, with the moon the reflection of the sun in the sphere below. No, you've got to think the sun is in many places. It's not one thing. It's not an object. It's a thing. It was seen in every man's arc of horizon. The sun is in many places, but only seen in one. You can only see one image. It's hidden. Like I say, nothing's physical. It's actually hidden. You can't see pure plasma. It's hidden in the Arctic center, going around the black hole center, which can all just... We're an exploded view, a microscopic point of view, a whole realm. It can all just go back to 0 point. So the sun is in many places, coming, basically just follow wherever the sun is. Think of the flat Earth, draw a golden ratio out from the center here to the tropical boundary of Cancer, one out from here to the tropical boundary of Capricorn. Any time of the day, all around that shape, the sun is. So depending on where you are at latitude, you will see your image of the sun on that field line. It's like one magnetic field line as it moves around the Earth. Because that one field line represents the Milky Way. There's just one magnetic field line is the Milky Way. You can only see it at night, of course, but that big bulge you see at night, you can't actually, unless you've got good photography, good cameras, is the back of the sun, represents the back of the sun. It's rolling across the sky. You can refer to the dung beetle. The Egyptian dung beetle, rolling the turd, rolling the sun. It's proving that the Egyptians knew everything, because the beetle represents, there's a beetle that can only lay its eggs in the hot, in heat or something, and it can detect heat through pressure. So you've got to think the dung beetle is rolling the sun, which is for the seasonal change, that is created through magnetic pressure. It's all expansion and contraction between the two hemispheres. The vortex, that's what a vortex is. It's not the pump. It's compact. It's contraction and expansion. And the Egyptians knew all about it because it's what they're trying to represent with the dung. That's the only probably beetle they had. They used a dung beetle rolling the sun. That's what it means. There's a video of, go online, you find this black beetle. Listen to what they're describing about it. Heat sensor filaments on it, or whatever you call them. So then the sun is a resistance. So it's when the two Milky Ways bridge is what they draw in the ancient Hebrew Bibles. You got the sun at the top that represents the lintel, the stone, the archway, all the old doors, the hidden door, secret door. All the old doors were archways, stone lintels. You put the sun up there. Between the two Milky Ways, with the moon, the reflection of the sun in the sphere below. Yeah, it's sort of like there's lots of names for the sun. You can think of it as it oscillates across the plane, because even though it's down the 3D depth, you can collapse it all back together. The 3D squash it into the 2D plane. So you can look at the moon as going in and out across the plane, feeding the babies, feeding the children, feeding the planets. As the harmonic oscillator in the sound system. And in electrical engineering or something, it's a lagging. I forget the term now they use. It's a lag, and there's the lag. It's the 3D has got the lag from the 2D plane, right? The moon's slower than the sun by 52 minutes a day, is it? Yeah, a whole day. Yeah. Okay. Hi there. The Sute. Don't want to be a slave anymore. I'm sick of being here. Well, you got to put up with it, mate. It's a journey. All got to suffer. Got to go through hell to get to heaven, apparently. So the idea is to just, stay a good person. Keep happy. Keep the old mind happy. Don't let anything get to your guts. Stress you out. Always seek the truth. Never be rude to anybody, and always have an open mind. Even though I might not practice these things. To practice what I preach now. But anyway, I was once like that. I was, I listened to everyone, anything. How do you explain the opposite spin direction between the two spheres? They're mirrored in the globe model as it relates to the flat earth model. I seem to recall you said north and south reflect each other. Yes, it's a mirror. Hold something up to a mirror. You're holding it in your right hand. Where's it in the mirror? It's on the... it's in the mirror, it's on the right side, but from your perspective, it now becomes your left. It's inverted, like. And it's the way the torus field works. You've got to think of the torus field. So you take a torus and hold it like this and turn it up and through like that. Then you've got the Arctic 24-hour sun. Then come pull it back out. It's now out in the anti-Arctic. The sun's out in the anti-Arctic. That's the way the magnetic field fluctuates. And it's part of the vortex. What's the heart? A vortex. Go unravel a vortex. Go unravel your heart. What does it look like? It's an S-curve. It's all in there. Everything about Earth is connected to man. Man is of the earth. A demon's real. Only in your head. You're the one who creates a demon. They don't exist anywhere else. It's all in your head. All the dumbest shit in the world is all in your head. It's nowhere else. Just realise that. The etymology of demon is genius or shining one. Yeah, and that, even when they talk about the beast in Revelations, the beast is the holy one, the divine one. Everything's all back to front. It's to scare you off. It's like deliberate, keep you away from the truth. You know, these theologians haven't, well, they probably have, but don't want to tell anybody. You know, John, regarding Jesus, is all about the coming. You are the one. You are representing, from your perspective, or from Jesus' perspective, you are now the one. But in Thomas, the book of the Gospel of Thomas is about what is to come. So he's telling you the story of what is to come. And John is telling you it has come. So Thomas, what is to be, and John and Jesus, the story is to be. They can't even figure that out. Religious people can't. There's all these different angles in the Bible describing the whole situation, leading you to this point. The sun, basically, to the tropical years, taking you to the Holy Land, to that time of the year when everything is balanced. You know, these divine enlightenments require the solar eclipse to happen first, but I think they might only refer to the kings, which is one king for every zodiac sign. And it's written that, you know, the 144 thou send, not 140,000 with all the zero, 144 thou send. And it says one from each tribe. The way it's written, people just skim over it and just take it as the basic. They don't go deep. You've got to understand there's 12 moon signs in a month, 12 zodiac signs in a year for the sun. So 12 of each is 144. They'll send. So one from each tribe. It takes the moon and a sun, its polarities, the male and the female, to become one. The 144. One from each tribe. Can't all be kings. Or maybe we can. I don't know. Or maybe you've got every year. Okay, so every year there could be a king of kings. So no, you only get one. That can't be right. Okay, it's quite in depth. There's plenty of layers to it. But the thing is, at the divine time, you know, the king of the kings, that's a very rare thing, eh? Like, one, Saturn has to be in Ophiuchus, the only time Ophiuchus comes into the equation. And that's every 29.5 years. But at the same time, you've got to have the full moon in Pisces. Full moon in Pisces, when the sun is in Virgo. Okay. That's the king of the kings, but there's all these other kings, so they have their own different alignments. So everything has to be vibration and frequency. That's what's moving, if anything is moving, I think. Well, it's resonance, yeah. It's sound waves. Everything is in waves. The ecliptic plane is a circular, like dropping a pebble in a pond. It waves. It leaves the center and weakens, dissipates in frequency. And what do you think the planets are doing out there? They're all in their concentric circles. But it only goes out to the boundary of Cancer. Then there's a gap. And then the mirror flipped inside out for the southern hemisphere. So you go right out to Antarctica and you put the sun there and all the concentric circles around that, coming back towards the Tropic of Capricorn on every meridian. So they're infinite. Well, there's infinite cycles all the way around the southern hemisphere. Yet you've got only one in the northern hemisphere, centrally locked, and that's our realm. You go right back to creation. What's centrally locked? The central vortex of creation. It's locked in the Arctic. We're out in the flux, and our flux is centrally locked. That God zone, V, in the center where that apple core comes out. We can't get into that spot, the place of inaccessibility. That's where the pure plasma sun is up there. And oh, look what they've just done recently. My flat earth model has been showing how the tokamak should work. And I keep telling them all, it's not going to work until you get the dual system set up, just the way I've explained it. You have to have one end coming in from the tropics into the center of the tokamak. And I just saw a post yesterday. Oh, the Chinese have created the blah, blah, by using a secondary, what they call it, core or something or other. And it showed you the circular motion out in the tropics where the sun's going around. And then they show the center vortex or hyperboloid center. They're clicking on. But, I don't know if they know, but it's all cold fusion because all magnetism. There's no smashing things to bits. It's all about shredding the molecule and feeding it in. So in the earthly system, it requires the two Arctics of cold and the hot in the center, which is rushing the wind and the magnetic field through hydrostatics to the tropics, gets drawn up through the tropics, shredded, purified to feed into the pure plasma sun back in the center Arctic. It's the way it works. I'm sure physicists put all their brains together and come up with it. Well, they need to talk to me. But they won't be doing that, will they? No, there's so much of my information coming out that I've been sharing for 9 years at least. 9, 7, 6 years. And there's no way they'll ever refer to me. Even flat earthers don't like to mention my name when they get all my information. Resonance and vibration. Yep, it's all in the wave. It's in the field, the toroidal field. We only see each other through resonance. It's moving so fast you think it's physical. Right? The pixels on your TV, full of pixels, forms a solid picture, image. I forget the ratio to 3. That's the golden ratio. At a particular time of the year, though. And that special time of the year, the two hemisphere magnetic fields merge. There's 2 north poles and there's 2 south poles on this earth. It's quadrupole, someone mentioned earlier. It's quite helpful. Both Arctics are north poles. Both tropical boundaries are south poles. And the circuits work within each of those. But they come into an overlay merging, which is all to do with the vortex, the heart, the spiral, up and in and over or whatever. Yeah, 2 cogs, exactly. Well, that's what the chariots are in some of the mythological stories, the chariot wheels. And 2 cogs, and the 3-to-2 ratio, or the golden ratio, is the carding wheel. Go check out what a carding wheel is. The ancient, it spins wool or makes material or something, carding wheel. Go look at the ratio. Yeah, Southern Cross, the crosses, the big dippers, small dippers, false cross, the crux. Always forget which is which though. Yeah, exactly. The only enemy of man is guilt and fear. Yep, and that's what they like to put on you. They like to keep you under pressure, stressed, stress. Put stress in there then. Guilt, fear, and stress. Well, I suppose fear is stress. Yeah. Well, it's either in your head or in Donald Trump's. to think I backed him all the way right at the very beginning there when he first got it. It wasn't until the day he was elected, then all the story came out. The whole story came out. Him being a Zionist and all his Jew connections and all that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. That was the end of that then. Man. If I could explain the truth regarding the Jews and what the whole thing's a big con, the whole story. Jews, we're all Jews, you know. I explained it in the last video. What's a J? It's a Y, isn't it? There's always a Y, never a J. Just to sound, just straight English. It's you. And God is within you, isn't it? Yeah? Well, we're all Jews until we wake up and become Christ, ascended, Christed. Suffer your Christos. Religion is killing the world. There's so much lies involved and people are so gullible. They fall for all the silly stories. There are 13 moon cycles within a sun cycle. What? No, there's not 13 full moons, bro. There's only 12 full moons a year. Okay? Pretty sure I'm right there. And then you got to realize the sun cycle is actually 360 days, because well, it gets tricky. You got the 5 extra holy days. That's when the sun doesn't move in declination. But for the seasons, you got to add that on. But the cycle, if you trace the cycle of the sun down up and down, it's 360 days, I should say. Don't get confused with a magnetic cycle, because a magnetic cycle is actually 720 degrees. That's 2 golden ratios is 720 degrees. And there's 2 golden ratios face to face creates a cardinoid, and the cardinoid is the full cycle of the stars during the day, the moon during the month, and the sun during the year, over the year. So there's 13 sidereal cycles, because you're not counting the 2.2 days the moon is in with the sun. So there's only 12 full moons per year. Sidonic cycles, full moons. What is causing the ether drift? Is this responsible for the cycle of the sun and the season? And is the ether drifting occurring below? It's all to do with the vortex. Everything comes out of the central vortex of creation. The winds, subduction, not subduction, what's the word? Induction, isn't it? Can't remember. Hot and cold. The 4 winds, they say, coming to create the spiral, the spin of the vortex. That's what a black hole is. It's 2 high pressure zones, which is the duality in our realm. 2 high pressure zones coming to the lowest singular, lowest pressure state. The black hole, the center, the core of the hurricane, vortex, tornado, whatever. What it is. It's what creates the spin. High pressure racing to the low pressure. So you look at it in our realm, you got high pressure racing to the middle here, to the tropics, black hole. You can say there's a black hole. The tropical boundary is a black hole. It all comes from creation. So this is our created realm. We go way back into creation, back to the central vortex of creation, and the exact same thing's happening back in there. The 2 Milky Ways spiraling into the black hole. But there's many ways to describe it. You draw the vortex and the two Milky Ways. One's coming off the Arctic basin, which you can call it earth thing, up to the ether, positive atmosphere, Earth being the earth, which is the mother, which represents magnetism, because Earth only came about from the illumination, which, it's going backwards, from the moon, which was split off from the sun, because the moon is in the vortex, 3D vortex. Without that split off, there would be no 3D vortex, there would be no Earth. So we say Earth is connects to magnetism and the moon and the feminine, because without it, we wouldn't be here. We've got to find our way back. So that's like extrapolated out, and now we've got to find our way back sort of thing. We're in here, we've got to find our way back. So the drifting, the ether is a wave. It's a continuous wave. That's what the ploughshare is. Every wave is a ploughshare. Imagine that. And the ploughshare comes out of the pruning hook. And what's in the center of the pruning hook? The sun, the pomegranate seed, all spelled out in the Bible. Unfortunately, no one can read it. I interpret it. That's the wave, constantly moving, because it's representing the central vortex hidden in here. That vortex is turning, so it's casting our whole realm around with it. And then it's mirrored, but then you've got to understand that the toroidal field, how a toroidal field works. You've got to understand it's split. This is all these dumb flat earth sites. It's so lost, man, with this one singular map and one singular sun and all this garbage. It's sick the people actually believe they are chosen. I don't think who chose them. I'd like to know who chose them, but I doubt the creator of the universe would do that. No, none of them are enlightened people or chosen. There's no way. They're probably at the lowest, or they kill them. They're so horrible. So obviously they're at the bottom of the pit. Funny, they think they're at the top. Nested torus field. Nested, yeah, if you want. Nests. The nest, you could draw the nest around the horizon of the black hole. This is where all the electrostatics occur. If you want, look at it that way. And then you think of the black hole being the egg with the sun on its horizon creates an oval, creates the egg shape. So nothing goes around it. Nothing goes around the sun. If the sun's on the inside track going faster, the sun will catch up to everything. Nothing will catch up to the sun if it's on a concentric circle outside of the sun's inner circle. That's pretty freaking self-explanatory. No, everyone's in their own deluded worlds when it comes to the globe anyway. They're all coupled to one another, creating fractals. Torus field. Well, in the torus field is the net. The torus field is the net, isn't it? You've got the positive field going one way and a negative field going the other way. It creates a toroidal field. Go draw it all out. If you want to draw the torus, you draw it from where you are. The observer is the center of the universe. Or you can draw it out of the center of the earth. This flat earth model just comes out like that. So you've got to do the ploughshare wave, the golden ratio though, and then the other circle goes back the other way, and you end up getting the crisscross. It creates the torus field. Time dilation. The sun keeps time. The sun in each hemisphere in the Milky Way dilates out, and it dilates out. This is where they get their globe model from. It dilates out from here, so they consider that the dilated wider part of the globe. You know, if you put the line across like this, the tropics, is the wider part across the tropics. So, you know, so they dilate out to there, then they contract it back to here. But it's the same thing, because it's actually dilating out from here. But it's all relative, so it doesn't matter whether you want to expand everything out, everything's relative, or shrink it so far, expand it the next, whatever. Everything is relative to the observer, no matter where he is on Earth. So he never knows the change. Flat Earth is a club. Well, it's a fractured club, flipping bits and pieces all over the place. They've got no idea. They won't follow my method. I've got everything. They just like to ignore me and have their own interpretations. And globe is a religion, mental for the insane. Google image search this, everybody. Chinese vertical world map. Google image search this, everyone. Chinese vertical world map. Okay, vertical world map. Probably the Mercator map, is it? Lindsay, can you pull this up for the camera real quick to show Chinese? No, mate. I'm not technically savvy. I can't play around with this. I haven't got the laptop in front of me either. I'm on my phone. It's what you were just talking about. You're right. You're so right. I'm always right, bro. They can't fault the flat earth model, I know, because all the ancients have expressed it all fully. I've put it all together. It all makes sense. Nobody can fault what I say. That's why I'm shadow banned. All the freaks don't want me out there sharing my truth. That's why only 9 people are here watching me now. And I've got supposed to have 9.5. I'd have hundreds of thousands if they didn't mess with my site. It was just flying ahead years ago. All of them just stopped and started going backwards. Hasn't moved for 2 years, I don't think. And now they're messing with TikTok. Lindsay, am I familiar with the esoteric cardinal directions? Center is north, south is the outer ring, west is downwards into inner earth with the North Pole whole, and east is... I didn't really stop and think about it, but obviously north is the center, but you've got to realise Antarctic is north too, North Poles. Both North Poles. And I think they consider north as being right. Is that what I figured out the other day? I always forget, you see. I always figure out what is east or west. But then I forget. Yeah. No, I've got real bad memory, eh? Esoteric cardinal directions. North. Centre is north. South, the outer ring. Yeah. Well, that's the flat earth map, isn't it? Well, it's obviously set north. You can say that's south, but it's not really. South is coming out from the north. That is south. That's the South Pole. Then you got the tropics, the gap. Then you got another South Pole here, because there's your north. So like I say, it dilates out to here, and it dilates out to there. That's why you have 2 norths, there's 2 souths. Okay, I better go now. I'm supposed to have painted a wall. That's an hour and a half. Far out. Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for calling. Bye.